Good Tuesday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to tonight's top stories, let's take a quick look outside that weather window. And once again, just an unseasonably beautiful day all across north central Washington. Temperatures should be around 57 this time of year. Once again, we were about 10 degrees above that, and a beautiful shot looking up into the upper valley from our Steins Hill Sky-Fi Tower camera. And you can see those orchards about ready to bloom, and it's that time of year where I've said before, it turns into Alice in Wonderland around here. It's so beautiful. But we do have some winds to deal with as we get into Wednesday. A cold front will move through, and that means some windy conditions for right here in the Wenatchee area, also over in the Columbia Basin. And we could see winds steady between 15 and 25 miles an hour tomorrow. And we'll talk more about that and the weather for the end of the week coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the news stories we're following for you tonight. A 25-year-old Olympia man had to be airlifted to Central Washington Hospital in Wenatchee with serious injuries Monday night after crashing his motorcycle on Highway 20 south of Twisp. A judge has limited communication between an East Wenatchee woman and her 13-year-old daughter after she allegedly facilitated contact between the child and an inmate accused of stalking her. A Grant County jury says the heiress to a Soap Lake farm must pay $3.3 million to the children of her late husband. And a physician, a hydrology expert, a substance abuse counselor, and a Latinx community organizer will now join the Chelan-Douglas Board of Health. But first, our top story tonight, a fire in an East Wenatchee home today mobilized a heavy firefighting response and caused heavy damage to the small dwelling. The fire in the 1500 block of Crescent Street near South Mission broke out about 12:15 p.m. this afternoon. Crews got control of the fire quickly and no deaths or injuries were immediately reported. The affected structure was one of 3 residents on a neighborhood cul-de-sac. The cause of the fire remained under investigation late this afternoon. A 25-year-old Olympia man had to be airlifted to Central Washington Hospital in Wenatchee with serious injuries last night after crashing his motorcycle on Highway 20 south of Twisp. The Washington State Patrol said Matthew Hoover was eastbound on his 2013 Suzuki GSX 1300 just before 6 p.m. when a vehicle in front of him made a left turn onto Ayers Road. Trooper John Bryant said Hoover locked up the brakes on the motorcycle to avoid hitting the vehicle, causing the motorcycle to drop on its side. Bryant said Hoover will be cited for following too closely. A judge has limited communication between an East Wenatchee woman and her 13-year-old daughter after she allegedly facilitated contact between the child and an inmate accused of stalking her. 41-year-old Raquel Ann Langhurst is charged with 5 felony counts of acting as an accomplice to communication with a minor for immoral purposes. Douglas County deputies say Langhurst arranged multiple phone and video calls between the 13-year-old child and Kenneth Allen Crabtree, who was suspected of stalking the girl and was barred from contacting her by a court order. Judge Brian Huber yesterday ordered Langhurst to have only supervised visits with the child and not to discuss the case. Crabtree is charged with 98 criminal counts and remains in the Okanogan County Jail awaiting trial. Both he and Langhurst are scheduled for trial next month. A Grant County jury says the heiress to a Soap Lake farm must pay $3.3 million to the children of her late husband after finding her liable in his death. Tracy Nessel married orchardist Tim McNamara in 2013. On Christmas of 2014, McNamara was found dead at the couple's shared home in Belize with a gunshot wound to the head from a pistol owned by Tracy Nessel. McNamara had willed his entire estate to his wife, who was 25 years younger and who was also his niece. McNamara's 2 children found the circumstances suspicious and sued Nessel for civil murder. She was never charged criminally, but on Friday, the judge in Ephrata found Tracy Nessel had committed battery, which proximately caused Tim McNamara's death. Jurors awarded $725,000 to each of McNamara's children, plus more than $1.8 million in other damages. She still has the right to an appeal. Well, a physician, a hydrology expert, a substance abuse counselor, and a Latinx community organizer will now join the Chelan-Douglas Health Board. They're among 5 people selected unanimously by Chelan and Douglas County Commissioners yesterday. The Health Board, which oversees the Chelan-Douglas Health District, is expanding from 8 members to 12, with 5 new members representing the community at large. They are Wenatchee Cafe co-founder Alma Chacon, addiction recovery coach Joseph Hunter, Confluence Health endocrinologist Dr. Bindu Nayak, Columbia Valley Community Health registered nurse Marissa Smith, and hydrologist Bill Sullivan. Before applying to join the Board of Health, Sullivan attended one of its public meetings last October where he provided misinformation about the COVID-19 pandemic. County officials said Sullivan's statements were not disqualifying, and his application rose to the top because of his background in water quality studies. Commissioners said the selections will strengthen the health district for the future.
The depth and breadth of representation for the Valley is outstanding. We really are getting into the nooks and crannies. And I like that. These are dedicated people, in my estimation, who are all seeking this appointment for the right reasons, and that is to better our community.
You know, as we look across this and we look at all aspects of the health district, not just, the COVID pieces, which has, of course, been in the limelight for the last, 2 years. That's what really put the health district to the forefront of everybody in the community's attention. Yeah. But all the other work that's done, and to be able to draw upon the expertise of each one of these diverse individuals, I think is going to make us the most robust health district in the state in the coming years.
When we come back, the search for a new superintendent for the Lake Chelan School District has been narrowed down to 2 finalists. Businessman Sean Smith announced yesterday that he'll be running again for Chelan County Commissioner. And it was 85 years ago today that a Wenatchee hotel worker made the minimum wage possible. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Spring is more than just a time to clean. It's your time to renew, recharge, and spend time with the people you love. At Merry Maids, our cleaning services go beyond the basic services and provide you with a comprehensive clean that will re-energize your home and enhance your life. From everyday routine cleaning or deep cleanings, Merry Maids professional team members can provide you with an unrivaled experience. Call Merry Maids to schedule your cleaning today.
You love to help others. You need a solid career. You can have it all with help from Charter College. Our 10-month medical assistant program prepares you to work in healthcare settings like physician offices, rehab centers, and clinics. You'll learn to take patient vitals, assist with exams, administer injections, and maintain medical records. When you're ready to launch a rewarding healthcare career, visit chartercollege.edu because we work to get you to work.
What is home? A place to gather, a place to grow, provide shelter for the ones we love, eat, drink, restore, build trust. It's a place to rest when the workday is done, a place to find quiet after a night of good fun. What an honor we have at Guild to help own, finance, create, pave the way to live in home.
Welcome back. In another news, the search for a new superintendent for the Lake Chelan School District has been narrowed down to 2 finalists, both currently high school principals. The school district is holding community forums for the candidates beginning tonight at 5:15 for Chelan High School Principal Brad Wilson. On Wednesday, the community will have a chance to meet John Belcher, the principal at Mount Si High in Snoqualmie County. That's also at 5:15 p.m. in the community gym foyer. Businessman Sean Smith announced yesterday that he'll be running again for Chelan County Commissioner. In 2018, Smith narrowly lost the District 2 race to current Commissioner Bob Boogert. Boogert has announced he will not be seeking re-election. A Kashmir resident, Smith is the owner of the Walkabout Grill restaurants in Wenatchee and Leavenworth. Well, it was 85 years ago today that a Wenatchee hotel worker made the minimum wage possible. In 1935, Elsie Parrish sued the owners of the Cascadian Hotel in downtown Wenatchee, seeking at least the state's guaranteed wage of, are you ready, $14.50 per week. The case went all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, which until then had ruled against the ability of government to regulate working conditions. This time, the court reversed itself and in 1937 ruled that Elsie Parrish was owed her $14.50. The ruling cleared a path for the establishment of minimum wages, Social Security, and other policies enacted by Congress to battle the Great Depression. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Please stay with us.
Traditional values and innovation in honoring the life of each family we serve is part of the ministry of Heritage Memorial Chapel. Our staff is committed to walk with your family with compassion through this time of grief. We are here to help and here to serve, the right kind of help when you need it most. Heritage Memorial Chapel.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. In tonight's feature story, Wenatchee city officials are encouraging community involvement in the planning of the Confluence Parkway bypass, which will have impacts on the Apple Capitol Loop Trail and Horan Natural Area. Mayor Frank Kuntz and other city officials hosted a Loop Trail walking tour on March 18th to highlight areas that could shift when the $85 million project begins. The city of Wenatchee produced this video from that event.
Our goal is to try to make it better if we can, and it's fun to see all these people that use it regularly. It's just a huge asset, and our job is to try to make it better. That's why we're here today, is to show the changes and improvements. And I'm on this thing in the spring and summer, probably 4 days a week. And so I care about it, and I want to make sure it's better for everybody. So we're excited.
The paved trail goes off to the left, and as we know, that's the Holly Street area. So you're riding, basically it's the sidewalk. It does have it's a little bit wider, but now the trail will actually curve this way, and it'll stay on this upper bench. So it'll stay as close as possible to the Holly Street yard. It's not going to impact the passive trails. Those trails will stay intact. Those will stay as is. This trail will not merge with it, so you won't have the different uses kind of coming together. This paved trail will stay up along the upper bench up until we get closer to its existing alignment. So right here we don't have enough space, so you can see it's very narrow. So the road will be right here and the trail has to be right there because we don't want to get down into that lower bench. So what we're proposing here is to do sort of either a boardwalk or some sort of retaining wall to stay over or to stay out as far as possible, but add some space. So this is the area where you're going to see the most noise impacts. And so someone asked earlier about a noise wall. That's where that would be. There would be a noise wall between the road and the trail in order to help reduce some of that tire noise, which is really the noise that you hear the most. So the sound wall will be about 3 feet tall. The trail will start to slope a little bit, and so from the trail perspective, it'll actually be a lot taller. It'll feel about an 8 feet to the trail user, if that makes sense. We do plan to do some overlook areas so that you can see and have like rest areas by the new trail. So as you see here, the parkway is going to get further and further from the trail, and so we'll have more opportunity to do those types of enhancements.
Let's take a look now at your North Central Washington weather forecast. Hope you all had a great Tuesday. Nice and mild out there once again today. Beautiful shot looking up towards the upper valley, our Steins Hill Sky-Fi Tower camera. And boy, look at the orchards. They're just about ready to do their thing. And this place just becomes unbelievably beautiful this time of year, and looking forward to that. Unofficially high temperature today, another nice one, 66 degrees at Pangbourne Airport, 57 is normal, 75 our record high temperature. That was set back in 1994. We started off at 39, and that's pretty much right in the ball game where we should be for this time of year as far as lows at 37. Our record low was in 1987 at 27 degrees. Sun came up at 6:45, and the sun will set tonight for us just before 7:30. Now it's 7:27. Taking a look at how our Wednesday temperatures shake out, I'll tell you what, big changes coming temperature-wise. But don't worry, temperatures actually just falling back to about where we should see them for this time of year. Still 61 for Moses Lake and Ephrata, 60 the high temperature tomorrow in Quincy, and then 50s back to the west and north of the Columbia Basin, mainly from 57 in Leavenworth to about 59 in Wenatchee. Cool spot, Lake Wenatchee tomorrow with a high temperature of 50 degrees. Tonight we can expect mostly cloudy skies. Here's our area of high pressure. It's being flattened now by this low and a big westerly flow moving into the Pacific Northwest. That'll bring this cold front into our area, and that'll happen on Wednesday, and that'll kick up winds, especially tomorrow afternoon, 15 to 25 miles an hour and gusty at times. Much cooler too, as we just talked about, with high temperatures in the mid to upper 50s. For Thursday, mostly sunny skies. Our ridge builds back up over the Pacific Northwest. Still a lot of cloudiness though, especially west of the Cascades, with highs mainly in the mid 50s for Thursday, and that'll actually be a little bit below normal. And then for Friday, back to normal. Partly cloudy skies, seasonal temperatures. We'll see highs in the mid to upper 50s for Friday, and then kicking off our upcoming weekend. Boy, talk about sunshine and clear skies all across the western third of the country. High temperatures mild for Saturday in the upper 50s. As we get you into Sunday, some changes beginning to happen. Here's a large area of low pressure. That will once again bring clouds our way and a pretty good moisture field as well as that begins to move in. So we're going to call for some scattered showers in the afternoon on Sunday with highs in the mid to upper 50s once again. And then for Monday, this thing really kicks into gear and a wide area of shower activity all over the Pacific Northwest and the Intermountain West. Rain likely, and it will cool down a little bit Monday too, with high temperatures then in the mid 50s. Take a look at that 7-day forecast quickly. 42 overnight tonight. We'll see 59 and lots of wind tomorrow, so get ready for that. 55, a little cool with sunshine on Thursday. 57 and partly cloudy Friday, heading into the weekend. If you have outdoor plans, Saturday, the day to do it. Sunny skies and 58. Scattered showers moving our way Sunday and 57. And then rain is likely on Monday. Cloudy skies with a high temperature then of 56 degrees. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
At D.A. Davidson in Wenatchee, they believe your investment success begins with a personalized plan. A plan that is the roadmap you need to navigate your way to living your best years in retirement. D.A. Davidson can help you create a plan so you can take the time to enjoy the finer things in life. Let the financial advisors at D.A. Davidson help chart your retirement future today.
The best pizza in the known universe is right here in downtown Chelan, so come on up. For the best locally crafted beer and barbecue in Chelan, come on up.
For the best down-home scratch country cooking in North Central Washington, you'll find it in Manson. Come on up.
Come on up. Come on up.
Come on up.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Tuesday to you. Haley Van Lith may only be a college sophomore from Little Cashmere, Washington, but she's certainly playing the lead role on the national stage right now. Haley scored 22 points to lead Louisville to an NCAA women's basketball Final Four last night with a 62-50 win over Michigan. Van Lith was dominant as she took her team on her back with tenacity and spirit.
Including in December, Louisville has won by at least 20 points. Haley Van Lith. To seeing with her is that poise and that composure. Very rarely as Van Lith hits it and then holds the hand up for a while. True freshman from Cincinnati on the all-freshman team in the Big Ten. Tremendous future ahead of her. Present not so bad either. Meanwhile, Van Lith smooth. Lafillia getting downhill. She is a playmaker for this team. Van Lith. Terrific pass from Engsler. Robinson brought it out there by Williams. Shot clock. Skinny for Van Lith. Takes Dilk off the bounce. So good, Pam. So good. I'll be an honor talking about what she can continue to do better. And Michigan on a 7-0 run. All of them on free throws. Broken by Van Lith. Slicing in. Van Lith. Through the contact from Nolan. Count it. Haley Van Lith, 70-48. They scored 15 points in the entire first half. Different story tonight. Low scoring, but Louisville depending on number 10. And this is why Emily Engsler came to Louisville. To have a chance to play for the national championship. The Cardinals are on their way to the Twin Cities.
How fun is that? Cardinals forced 22 Wolverine turnovers, and Haley says she and her teammates take pride in their ability to play defense.
No matter what happens on the offensive end, if it's the worst shooting night of our lives, we can go down on the other end and play defense and get stops. And at the end of the day, if the other team scores less than you, you still win, no matter if it's 3-2 or 10-9 at the end of the game. But we just know defense is something we can always control, and we've bought into it this year. This team, we really came together, and we demonstrated that today.
Haley became quite emotional when asked what it means to play for Louisville coach Jeff Waltz.
He lets you play and have fun, and you know, when we're breaking in transition, he lets us try and create and be exciting, and he defends us when we talk crap and we get texts. Like, he always has our back, and he works. I think for me, you know, he works on the person you are off the court. I'm a stubborn one, and he's had to teach me to enjoy life outside of basketball, and yeah, I mean, he just, he cares about you off the court, and it's not just a business. And I think it's pretty obvious, like, the emotion that we play with and the emotion that he coaches with, that we'd run through a wall for every girl on this team. We'd run through a wall for him. And so I think that's what makes us dangerous in this Final Four, is that we'll do anything for each other.
You got to love that. Early game last night was quite a Donnybrook. UConn outlasted NC State in double overtime. 91-87 was the final. Tournament now moves to Minneapolis for the Final Four on Friday. Louisville faces South Carolina at 4 o'clock on ESPN. That's followed by UConn and Stanford at 6:30. National championship will be on Sunday at 5 o'clock on ESPN. Well, the Washington State men's basketball team's in New York to play in the NIT semifinals tonight. Washington State has the second game on the slate at Madison Square Garden against Texas A&M at 6:30. It's on ESPN2. Game prior features St. Bonaventure and Xavier at 4 on ESPN. That game underway. Coach Kyle Smith says they've been able to mix in a little sightseeing with preparing for the game tonight.
Just really excited to be a part of this tournament from the beginning, and then have the opportunity to win 3 games and make our way to New York City, homecoming for about quite a few guys, staff and team. You know, we're trying to balance between getting ready for a game and trying to enjoy part of the New York City experience. So we've limited to, we had a rooftop dinner kind of overlooking the city. It was pretty neat for our guys, and I felt safe as a coach. They weren't running around the streets. But got to see a little experience that, and then we got to go to the Brooklyn Nets game last night, which was cool. Kyrie's first came back, and we practiced.
WSU, Texas A&M tonight, 6:30 on ESPN2. The Seattle Kraken scored its largest margin of victory in its inaugural season last night, 6-1 over the LA Kings. Seattle scored 7 goals back in November against Buffalo, but the Sabres also scored 4 goals for a 3-goal margin. Adam Larson took a 1-1 tie, or broke a 1-1 tie at the 8:24 mark of the first period. It was all Kraken from there. Seattle back on the ice tomorrow night. Climate Pledge Arena against the Vegas Golden Knights. That's at 7 o'clock, nationally broadcast on TNT. Well, Robbie Ray struck out 6 over 4 1/3. Mariners beat Texas in Cactus League play 6-5 yesterday in Peoria. J.P. Crawford went 2 for 3 with a run and an RBI. Mitch Haniger also 2 for 3 with 2 ribbies. But it was Dylan Moore who got the offense started in the bottom of the third.
Dylan with a deep punch. Out to left field, out of the berm, and Dylan Moore. A home run to start the bottom of the third. That puts the Mariners in front 1-0.
Man, for Dylan, most of the time we think of him with his speed, but he has tremendous power. That's a fastball that's just middle. He barreled it up, solid line drive on the home run. A pretty good catch.
Julio Rodriguez helped add to the lead in the bottom of the fifth with an extra base hit.
There's something about Julio. There's an X factor with him. As he
right on point.
Hits this into the alleyway. Souza trots home. Toro pedals into third. He's held there by Manny. Julio to second. I mean, there's always a risk, right, when you have a player that young with that few of at-bats above Hyatt. But he has given you and Jerry and the rest of the front office and Scott Service and those guys in the dugout every reason to believe that this is obviously an elite player.
Seattle hosting Kansas City earlier today in Peoria. We'll have the results tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll have baseball on the NCWLIFE channel today, depending on when you're watching this broadcast. Eastmont Wildcats hosting Moses Lake at Dan White Field. We'll have the game on TV tonight at 7 alongside Grant Olson. We'll have the call right here. Also, a look at the rest of the baseball schedule for today. Wenatchee visiting Sunnyside. Ephrata's at Natchez Valley. The other games have Cashmere hosting Zilla. Chelan's at Cascade. Quincy visits Omak. Brewster travels to Lake Roosevelt. Manson welcomes Pateras. On the softball diamonds today, Ephrata's hosting East Valley of Yakima in a doubleheader. Quincy also playing 2 at Omak. Wenatchee's hosting Sunnyside in a single game. Cashire's playing at Cascade while Okanagan is hosting Liberty Bell. Meanwhile, early games in soccer on the pitch today as Moses Lake at Davis, while Bridgeport's entertaining Okanagan. Also Manson at Tenasket and Brewster hosting Pateras. The late games have East Valley at Ephrata. Quincy's hosting Toppenish. Cascade visits Cashmere tonight at 7. Eastmont at Sunnyside. Wenatchee's hosting West Valley. That's sports. I'm Eric Grandstrom. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Eric. And now let's check in with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thanks, Grant. Join me for a Hump Day edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. My guest will be Pat Quinn Williams, one of the coordinators of the annual MS Walk. They've had to do it virtually for the last couple of years, but it's back in full force at Walla Walla Point Park. It's the annual traditional walk to raise money to fight the multiple sclerosis, and Pat's been very much involved in that. Looking forward to that visit with Pat. We'll have that windy weather forecast. We'll have sports and everything else you need to get your Wednesday going, and we do the honors right here because we're live and we're local with the Wake Up Wenatchee Valley tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Dan. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us and have a great night.
Be sure to tune in each weeknight for sports during the NCWLIFE Evening News. If it's the Mariners, the Seahawks, or any of our local teams, I'll be sure to cover the latest right here on the NCWLIFE channel.
It has really been a great partnership between Succession and NCWLIFE. It's not always easy to sit in front of a camera or a microphone, but you guys have made it a really nice process.